Hello, everyone, and welcome back. We're about a week and a half out from Worlds starting, and that means it's time for some people to give some attempts at good picks. Maybe they'll turn out well, maybe they'll turn out horribly. I'm joined today by the man himself, Beau Throws. Second collab I've been able to do with Beau. Very exciting stuff. And Beau, how are we feeling? I think, okay, tonight's the 4th, so 9 days out from the start of the World Championships.
Yeah, I mean, I feel, we've been kind of spoiled. We've had a championship every year, obviously with the COVID and the World Championships, getting pushed to, 2022 and then 23. So, I mean, this is just another great championship year with we literally have world record holders and multiple events. We have record breaking throws that may happen with the, 21 meters in the women's shot put. It's just a great time to be a live throws fan.
Yeah, this year has been like last year was ridiculous, and then this year has just somehow in some events it's exceeded it. Like men's disc, the you could say the Ramona effect has been like dialed up to 10, but when you look at what is it, four guys over 72 now,
Mm-hmm.
like that's just
Two over 74.
regardless of where they're
Yeah.
throwing them. That's insane. Women's shot, I mean, Chase has been just like rewriting the record books to some extent. The hammers at six guys over 81, three guys over 82.77 right now. Like, it's been a crazy year, and I can't even imagine. We're trying to imagine, because that's the whole point of this video, is we're trying to imagine what's going to happen in Tokyo. But man, it's going to be an insane one.
100%.
So we're going to be going in order that the events are on the schedule. So we're starting off with men's shot, which is such a fascinating event because of the question mark around Ryan Crouser. He hasn't competed all year. The only time we've seen him throw was at the first World Shot Put Series at Drake Relays in April. He threw, I think, 70 feet and
Mm-hmm.
then bowed out at 71. He's been open that he's dealing with kind of the same elbow injury he was dealing with last year, but we just have no idea where he's at heading into this one. And it's like the biggest question mark of the entire meet when you look at the throws is like, we know what he can be. He's done unbelievable things like this in Budapest. And then with the blood clots last year, opening his season at Olympic trials and throwing
Mm-hmm.
22.90 or whatever he threw. But this one feels a little different, I think.
Yeah, when you had the complete lack of competing, especially Ryan's one who, will compete he'll compete a lot. He'll compete indoors. He'll compete at the Drake relays every year. He'll put himself out there. He does not dodge competition. That's not something Ryan does. So when he took the whole year off to, heal up, and thankfully he does have the bye, but he took the whole year to heal up. You knew it was serious. Having said that, I have to imagine that he is going, him showing up is him saying he's in enough good shape to put on a respectful performance. I don't think he's just one to show up and put if he's not 100% to go. I think maybe he's not 100%, but I think he knows his body, he knows his ability. And especially looking at, not having Joe there and maybe seeing some of the other throwers not, throw 22 high, like, maybe he sees like it as an opportunity. Like if, hey, maybe, if I can go 2270 or who knows what the number is, he can get in the mix for not only the medals, but for another win. It'd be three in a row for him, I think. It'd also be his fifth straight championship, like major championship
Yeah.
gold, if you count the Olympics, which is kind of crazy. Um, so it's just, some people you just don't bet against. And I mean, like, you explained the blood clot, you explained opening the season first time at the Olympic trials last year. I just, have to see the king slayed before I pick against him. I may even get a little ahead of myself with my pick. But I think Ryan is going to come to play.
Yeah. I mean, we don't know what's been going on behind closed doors necessarily, but Ryan has been one of the best at like sharing things on social media over the last couple years, but I don't think we've seen a single throw out of him on YouTube or Instagram for since like mid-April. So that is just and
It's worrying a
the way
little.
he phrased it on the Podium Athletics podcast, I think at the beginning of August, which is where we first really got the insight into his elbow injury, is like he was saying he'll be at Worlds even if he needs like a bunch of cortisone shots in the elbow, like right before the competition. So it's so there's so many ways I think that could go. But moving on to I guess the guys who have been competing, who have been out there putting it out, like men's shot is just really it goes for all the throws, but in men's shot especially, it feels like there's just so many competitions throughout the year, and nobody ducks anyone. Maybe sometimes you have like the European guys compete like early season in Europe because it's harder to get to like the U.S. meets or whatever. But the past couple months have just been excellent competitions and world previews after world previews. And I think if you're looking at kind of the top two guys in my mind, I think you've got to be looking at Leo Fabry and Peyton Otterdahl. They've just been so good all year. Each of them have thrown 22 four times. I think of the guys that will be going to Worlds, I think Tripp is the only other one in the field who's thrown 22 multiple times this year. So those guys, they've been putting up a lot of big marks. We know how much, like, we know kind of what their ceilings are, where, you know, Leo threw 22.9 a ton last year. He's thrown 22.8 this year. He's the world leader. Peyton threw a shade under 22.6 last year. He's thrown 22.35. But they've both, since like national championships windows in early August, they've both kind of been boom or bust. Peyton like won in Silesia, but then didn't have great days. And I think it was in maybe Hungary and Lausanne. I mean, Lausanne kind of throw that one out the window given the rain. But like Peyton's been kind of up and down, and Leo's had some real stinkers recently, like an 18-meter comp, no marking. So it's hard. Like they on paper they're the top two, but it's just with the quality that we know is behind them, like it's anything but a safe bet, I think, that they even medal, let alone take the first two positions.
Yeah, this one's going to be really hard to predict. I mean, even let's say Crouser is in great shape and throws. I mean, who would be and somebody else that can maybe challenge for the gold. I think all these throwers in the field should just be sending a thank you letter to Joe Kovacs right now, because I think if Joe was competing, he would probably be my pick to win.
Yeah.
He didn't have that bad of a day at the championships. He just wasn't good enough. He had to throw over 22. He threw 22. It always makes the team, and it just didn't this year. Because I was looking at Joe as the number one based on the World Athletics rankings. He's the number one shot put in the world right now.
I think he went 4-1 against like all of these guys after USA.
The revenge tour, the infamous Joe Kovacs revenge tour, which ended in a Diamond League victory. Thank Joe Kovacs for not being at this meet, because I would not want to be staring at that dude. But yeah, you like to talk about Fabry. Fabry has the world lead this year at 22.82. But you take that number out, and he's struggled the past couple of weeks. He's even said it in interviews. Obviously everybody knows he had the year last year, one of the best ever. It was 5 or 6, I forget how many, over 22.80, over 75 feet, which is a massive mark. And he was a Diamond League champion also last year as well. And he just has not been able to get the rhythm, to get the timing, whatever it may be. He's talked about it openly. But I still think he only takes one throw, and he threw. If you remember, in Budapest was kind of a breakout meet for him in 2023, where he put it together. He threw around 22.30.
That was his first time over 22.
Yeah,
and he threw 22.34 to take silver.
And he had a big foul too. He had a real big foul at that meet, which was kind of a preview for the last year, where he went over 75 feet, 22.90. So I would not count out Fabry. I definitely would not do that. But if you're looking at other competitors in the field that can take it, I think there's like, four other, three other guys. I think Peyton Alderdahl, he's a guy who has thrown far at these meets before. He was a Kovacs throwaway, and from getting a medal last year, it seemed like at the Paris Olympics. I also look at Josh Awatunde. Awatunde is a guy who, medaled at this meet before in 2022. And you look at Rajendra Campbell. That's another guy. I think he's kind of moved to the back, but he did place high at the Diamond League final. He's a guy who can come to the biggest stage.
Rajendra's not going to be there because he's transferred.
Oh my gosh, the Turkey. Oh my goodness.
So you look at like the Olympic podium last year. Joe's not.
I knew. I already had Roja. I forgot about Rajendra.
Rajendra's not going to be there, and then Ryan's like a total question mark.
Yeah.
So we could have a literally 1 year removed from the Olympics. We could have 3 brand new men on the podium.
Yeah. So, oh my God, I completely, I missed. I had Roger written out in the discus. That was like obvious, and I know Danielle Thomas Dodd isn't competing in the women's shot either.
That's just embarrassing.
You read into that, I don't know, but yeah, Rajendra. I mean, I forgot about Rajendra. My goodness, that's on me. Thanks. I mean, but yeah, we're gonna see what's gonna happen here. Will there be some Tom Walsh magic? Later in his career, healing up from a groin injury. And last Olympics, we'll see. But I think the P train and Fabry, and Awatunde, I still think Awatunde has another big throw in him this year. I really do. So,
yeah, and that's just like Awatunde is just such an example of why these events can be so hard to pick. Because I think like he had a good marker, I think, at Ed Murphy heading into USA's, where it was like a season's best. But even going into that one, like, nobody would have been expecting him to make the team probably, let alone win a national title and throw 22.47. It's kind of an outlier for him right now when you look at the rest of his season, but he did that at the biggest stage he had to. And then since then, he threw a solid 21.63, I think, to win NACAX. And then he was in Lausanne, but Lausanne was just kind of, it
was a wash.
Yeah. So, I mean, Tunde is kind of an X factor, I think. Like you said, Tom Walsh has had a great season. He hasn't thrown 22 yet, which a lot of other guys in this field have. But obviously we know, like, he's got that in the tank still. He was the world indoor champion where, like, he beat Tripp, who I'm going to talk about in a second. He beat Leo. Rajendra was there, even though Rajendra won't be here. So, like, he beat – there weren't necessarily, like, the biggest, like, American names, but he beat a really good field to win that world indoor title. And he's only one outdoor competition has been under 21.40 for him this year. So, they're, like, some of the, like, Peyton and Leo, like we talked about, have had some duds. Tom hasn't really had a dud, and we know – the kind of championship competitor he can be when he's healthy. So Tom's definitely going to be in the mix. And then Tripp has been so consistent this year. Like, it's been so much fun to just see his breakout and, like, fully realizing the potential we all knew he had during his NCAA career. The only thing I'm kind of worried about Tripp with is I don't know if his ceiling is high. Like, he's been so consistent this year, and he could have another huge breakthrough, or he could have an Awatunde type throw. But I just don't know if his ceiling is high enough to really be contending with the Fabries and the Peytons of the world if they're on. So if we're getting into official podium predictions now.
Okay, all right. I'm
going to say with the gold, I've got Peyton Otterdahl.
Okay.
I respect that. It's not just because of the ASICS hat. Peyton, I think it's just his time. Like, he's been knocking on the door of that global medal for so many years now. And he's been really good this year. And I think the win he took in Silesia, throwing 22.28, like, that's a big marker. And like I said, it is kind of boom or bust for him, I guess. The last couple meets, like, he's been either throwing like 22 or 21 low. But, I talked to him at USA's, and, like, he's being very intentional about building this season more patiently than we saw him last year, where he opened up, like 22:59, 22:45 or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. Was throwing so big early in the year. So I'm trusting Peyton. I've got Leo taking silver,
Mm-hmm.
and then I've got Ryan taking bronze.
Oh man,
I just,
oof.
it's, I'm, I know I shouldn't be, but I just am like very. It feels like a sin to say that wearing the WSPS shirt, but
Yeah, that's him
I'm
on your shirt. Yeah.
I'm just slightly skeptical about where exactly he'll stack. Like, if he had even one meet as like a mark, like if he could have gotten like the world invite or whatever to the Diamond League final, like as a buy, and we would have seen something out of that. That just, it's tough. But then I also knew I'm like, I can't leave Ryan Crouser off my podium because if he comes back and wins gold and there's like nothing, it's just the same old, same old. I'm gonna be so stupid if I'm like, no, that guy's not gonna medal. Um,
Yeah.
so that's my top three. Is I got Peyton, Leo, Ryan.
Yeah, I'm probably going to pick. I mean, those top three in different order. Like I said earlier, I'm. It's probably going against logic. I think you mentioned he hasn't really posted any throwing videos of him, which it's a little worrying. I think he's only posted some lifting videos of him doing like an overhead press, some snatch, some Penley rows. But I'm going Ryan Crouser. Uh, I just he's the guy. Until he's beaten, I'm not picking against him. It's
Yeah,
just not happening. It's like Tom Brady in the Super Bowl. I mean, he'll lose one maybe, but 7 out of 10 he's going to win. So I'm just going to go Ryan Crouser for the gold. I'm really going to be interested to see the qualifying round, see how he looks there. Because usually he's just methodical, doing the least amount of effort to get the auto
he'll
qualifier like
get it
on
by
the
like
to
two
a centimeter.
centimeters and then just
It's
walk
just
away.
yeah, it's just he's so good at. So that'd be a good telltale sign to see what type of shape he's in. If he hits it right on the money, it's like, oh, okay, he's
Yeah,
kind of in tune with his body. So I'm going Crouser number one. And number two, I'm going to go P Train. And then number three, I'm going with the Italian Leonardo Fabri. For a wild, prediction, I'm going to say Fabri has a big foul. I'm just going to, he had a big foul at the Olympics, I think, right? He had a big foul at the World Championships the year before. So I'm just going to big foul by Fabri to kind of freak everybody out. But that's my prediction. I'm going Crouser, P Train, Fabri.
I think those are both completely fair. It's just I like varying levels of trust, I guess, in Ryan, but
Yeah.
we'll see. I hope I'm wrong because like I just love continuing to build the case of Ryan Crouser as like the greatest track and field athlete ever. Um, I mean, if he pulls something like this off 3 years in a row, like that's so hard to argue
Yeah,
against.
and then
But
he'd have a rest. Well, yeah, kind of a rest year, and then world champion. I mean, he's got this cycle, to the LA Olympics. I think this is what it's building toward. We
yeah,
talked about it a little bit, so it'll be fun to watch.
yeah, that's. I mean, regardless of, and the thing is like the event is good enough where even if the world record holder doesn't look great and the second best thrower of all time isn't even at the meet, you're still going to have a really fun competition. So,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of how the top three shakes out, that one's going to be a really fun one to watch. Moving to day two now, we've got the women's discus.
Okay.
This one is, it can't happen three championships in a
Someone's
row,
gonna.
can it?
I
Like,
know what you're saying. Yeah.
is Valarie Allman still cursed? That's what we're gonna
It's
find
not
out.
even. Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. So just to recap, in 2022, she lost to Bin Feng, the Chinese discus thrower, or Feng Bin. The Feng Bin had a 3 meter PR basically
Yeah,
to win. Although Valarie did finish third that meet.
yeah. Sandra beat her
But
too.
anyway, a person hit a 3 meter PR to win it. The next year in Budapest, she has a great throw, Valarie that is. But Loggy hits a 4 meter PR, and it's like, is someone going to hit a 5 meter PR this meet? It's like you would think the consistency. She's won 28 straight competitions. Her last defeat was in the World Championships. This is where that streak is extending. I think, if there is a odds-on favorite to win any of these events we're going to cover, Valarie is going to be the highest by a large margin. Just her consistency, her just technical excellence. I just I'm just not going to pick against her. But could it happen? I mean, sure. You never know. People that could do it. Jorn van Klinken has been looking, pretty great lately. She had a nice throw at the Diamond League final, had a seasonal best. And honestly, I don't know about Feng Bin. She's been quiet this year. She's only competed 4 times this year, I think. But she's another person who shows up in championships. She was the 22 world champion. She medaled in last year or 2023. So it's going to be an interesting event to see what happens. I predict Valarie just comes out 1 or 2 throws in, throws like a 69, and it's over. That kind of that's what I'm going to go with, and I hope happens because I do want her to kind of get this
Yeah.
infinity stone that's been, she's just not been able to get. She's gotten this medal and this medal and this. She's just deserving of. If there's any athlete deserving of a world championship, it's Valarie Allman.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for Val is just with this almost 30 meet win streak she's been on over 2 calendar years now. She's shown the ability very rarely, because it's not that often that she's had to, but when she's been in a hole, she's shown the ability to respond. You think about, I think it was in Paris and Rome this year, she was sitting in like fifth after like 3 rounds or something. And then she fights her way back to the top and keeps the streak alive. So I think that, I mean, obviously she has taking away Ramona marks, which obviously she threw 73.52 there. Outside of Ramona, she has the 8 best marks in the world this year. And her and Zeb are just on a mission. Like, I think it's the women she's going to be going up against are good enough that a huge breakout like Loggy or like Bin had could happen. But I think no matter what, she's going to have enough in the tank this year to be like, this is my title. I am the best in the world, best of all time, potentially. And nobody is holding me back from getting on top of that podium. So I think we're in agreement that Val's taking the win here. A little bit of a spoiler alert for the final picks, but those silver and bronze medals, that's going to be a really exciting matchup to watch. Because you mentioned Yorinda. I've been super high on Yorinda all year. She's had 5 meets over 66. Like you said, coming off a season's best of 67.15 in Zurich. And she has been so pissed all year. And it's been really, like, following her Instagram stories, like, post-meet interviews. She's been so mad with basically every single competition. And she did an interview with Dan McQuaid after Zurich where she said, like, this is the first year where she's been throwing way better in meets. Or what? No, she's been throwing way better in practice than she has been in meets. And she is a 70-meter thrower. Like, I think some people forget that she threw 70 in 2022.
It was a little windy though. If we're, it was a
Yeah.
little bit of a good condition, but still to get it out there. But
Yeah, to hit
certainly.
70. And I mean, she's thrown 67 multiple times now. She was 4th at Worlds in 22, 4th in 2023, 7th in Paris last year. Like, she's been so good. And I think this is the year she can finally get it done. But Sandra Elkasevich is still in the mix. She hasn't competed that much this year, but when she has, it's been solid.
She still medaled at last year Paris Olympics.
Yeah,
I mean, she's
defending.
She's going to compete. Yeah,
she's hasn't finished worse than 5th at a global championship since 2011, which is the one where I believe she was suspended for those world championships. So from London 2012 on, she's been top 5 every single global final. That is just, it's insane longevity. She's earned the Instagram handle of Discus Queen. She threw 66.97 at pre. Like, she's definitely still going to be in medal contention. Bin Feng, she hasn't thrown a lot this year, which she never really throws a lot. But when she has, this year hasn't been that good for her.
It's been a little down, yeah.
Like in 2023, she was throwing 66 high a lot. Last year, she had a bunch of 67s on the docket
Yeah,
before
she
she
looked
got to
very good
Paris.
last year. She was in great
Yeah.
shape last year.
Yeah, and this year just I don't know what it is, but she hasn't been competing as much and the marks just haven't been the same. So I'm a little kind of out on Bing this year, I guess. And then you have the defending world champion, which it feels bad that it's taken us this long to get to her.
Mm-hmm.
But Loggie's back on the world stage, and I'm so
Yep.
excited to see what she'll be able to do.
Yeah. So yeah. You talk about all these, people. One thing I wrote in the notes is someone is going to be a surprise medalist. I just feel this competition is going to be one of those where someone. I see Val is going to, maybe get ahead of my picks. I think Val is going to be. She's going to be my pick to win. I think Jorn is going to be in great shape to medal. She got fourth in Budapest. I think that she's still kind of pissed off about that, in that competition. So I think you're in medals, and I think there's going to be another surprise medalist. I'm looking up and down the list. I mean, it could be a lot of people. It could, I mean, Sandra can definitely do it. I still wouldn't count out Ben on this because she is a competitor, and sometimes she might not be having all these marks. She hasn't competed in a few months, but I'm just not going to put it against her. She's medaled multiple times at these meets, so. You do that, I mean, you can show up, but I mean, who knows? It could be someone like Elina Van Dalen could. I mean, she could throw a 66-meter throw, and who knows? It's actually, I know I'm a little biased. She's a Gator, but honestly speaking, it could be someone like that. Hit a 65, 66-meter throw, and the condition you never had the conditions might be. It might be. I don't know if you've looked at the forecast, how it's if they can, how the weather's going to be, but. Inclement weather, things get funny. You never know.
Yeah, like Paris scares me with these predictions because
Yeah.
just so much got messed up last year. And I know Tokyo can be a little rainy in September. I think we're still too far out to get like actual forecasts for like the competition days, but there's definitely a chance of something like that popping up again. If we're going, so I already kind of showed my cards. I think Val's going to win gold. I've got Yorinda taking silver. And then it might be because I talked to Eric Worski this morning, and I'm riding that hype train.
Okay.
I think Loggie's coming for bronze.
Okay. I wouldn't be
This
surprised if that happened. I think that those medals are up for grabs.
Yeah, absolutely. Like she's been really good this year. And the thing that she's been focusing on all year is just building consistency after the kind of disaster that last year was. She's been focused on just getting to a place where she knows she's got a good one every competition. And she has. Like she had a couple bad diamond leagues early on in the year, but recently she's been like 63.50, I think, in Zurich. Shade under 65 at USA's to finish runner-up behind Val. She threw 66 at Ironwood. She threw well at pre. Obviously has the 70-72 from Ramona earlier on in the year. Like, I think Loggie's got something big in the tank. We've seen her do it on this stage before, and so it wouldn't surprise me to see her to get back on the podium.
Yeah, I'm looking at the top list. I mean, it's funny. They're not all going to be there, but the top 5 marks in the world right now are Americans, which is.
Yeah.
But not even going to get into that. And who knows? Maybe Gabby Jacobs has a big.
Yeah, I mean,
it's wide open. I think for some of these, the third spot. I think some surprise is going to happen. So you're going Loggy for bronze, Yorinde for second, and Val for
Val. Yeah.
Okay. Well, first place. I'm going Val. I mean, let's just pop that top off. Second, I'm on the Yorinde train. I really am. And third, I mean, I think maybe I put too much stake into previous medalist, but I'm going Ben. I think she's going to just slide in there, and I think she's going to do enough to be in enough shape to get a medal.
Yeah,
I can be completely wrong, but she's just a gamer. So.
She's just found a way each of the last like 3 years now. So, I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, it's hard to bet against um like a proven championship competitor like that. It's just kind of I'm just looking at the results this year. I'm like, it's gonna take more. I mean, like she is probably going to throw a season's best. I just
Yeah.
don't know if it's going to be enough to get there. If we're talking about like a surprise medalist, one person who I think could be, it's kind of funny to call them a dark horse because I'm pretty sure she was fifth in Paris last year, but Vanessa Kamga from Sweden
Mm-hmm.
is really, really good.
Yeah.
And her season didn't start off that great. And like she was kind of getting tossed around, I believe, in some of the earlier Diamond Leagues. But she's either 65, 67 in July. A lot of these competitions have been like in Sweden that she's been throwing really well. So we'll see how that can translate to the other side of the world. But 65, 67 season's best and 5 comps over 64 this year. Like that's really good. And she PB'd last year in qualifying at Paris, and then threw I think the second best mark of her career in the final. So she can pull something big out on that global stage. So in an event where we have seen some surprise medalists the last couple years, I think Vanessa could be a candidate that some people might be looking past a little bit.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people are going to be able to medal at this meet. Like I said, I said someone's going to be a surprise medalist, even though I didn't even pick that in my picks. I went pretty right down the plate, with them. But except for I'm just maybe playing a little too safe. But yeah, she's another person, and anytime I see a Swedish uniform in the discus ring with Stahl and Peterson, all the history they've had great throwers. It's just you hold your breath a little bit. Talking about other throwers who you hold your breath. Even Sandra, like every time she enters the ring, I just hold my breath. Like, ooh, she might hit something big. Just some athletes you just don't bet against. So I wouldn't be surprised if she even snagged another medal to throw in
Yeah.
her medal case. So
Women's hammer now on day 3. And this, I mean, it's women's hammer is just such a special event because given that it is like so new, it's every time we come to like a world championship or something. It's like you've got 5 of the 6 best women in history or whatever it is throwing against each other. And it's a different looking field than we had last year, which it's a good thing because it's good.
Which is that's a good thing. Yeah.
It's great to see Brooke and Janae back on this stage. It's great to see Rachel on this stage for the first time with the season she's had. Basically, just great Americans. It's good to be back.
North America. I mean, this is.
It's crazy that I'm saying that,
Yeah.
and I'm like, we left the Olympic silver medalist at home.
I know.
This one is going to be so much fun. Beau, what's kind of your, I guess, the major storyline I'd say you're looking into for this women's hammer comp?
Yeah, so this is another. I wrote surprise medalist again here. I don't know if I, for this event, I think you look at, we're bringing, goodness, 4 Americans. I think each one of them can medal. I don't think a sweep is going to happen. Going to the top, it's kind of, the same thing in the men's hammer. You had the defending Olympic champion, the defending world champion in Cameron Rogers. Even though, she doesn't have the PB, like maybe Brooke or Deanna has, but it's kind of one of those, like, if you want to, take the crown, you've got to beat them. And it's, I look at Cameron and the way she's competed at some of these high-end meets and the way, she's been with Coach Mo for a long time now. They have their training dialed in and, how to pull off and to get her body ready for these meets and to just be mentally ready for these competitions. Cameron has shown that she is just, she's got that, whatever you want to call that secret ingredient, she's got that it factor. But having said that, I mean, it's hard to look at some of the marks that Brooke has thrown and Deanna has thrown, especially Deanna. Deanna's, I mean, she's, one I think is going to do some damage. And another, thing I wrote down is, what about Anita? She's 40 years old. She's thrown almost 75 meters this year. Could she, I don't know when, but maybe she gets a medal. I
He was
mean, who
fourth
knows?
last year.
Yeah, no, it's crazy. Um, she's 40 years old and might medal at this. Um, it's just a great and Janae. I'm kind of leaving out Janae here. Janae's medal at the past two World Championships. Um, it's just a you know tons of great throwers here. Just looking at the list. Uh, so I think it's going to be a North American sweep. That's me. I don't know the people, but I'm kind of leading towards a North American sweep for this event.
Yeah, I think that's just, I mean, it's maybe sounds a little biased, but like it's hard to argue against that.
Yeah.
Because with Brooke, like it feels like for the last couple years, she has been the best hammer thrower in the world when she's at her best, which
Hmm.
we haven't necessarily seen when it's mattered most. I'm pretty sure Budapest, there were like some injury issues, but then last year just wasn't her best day at trials. Um, and Cameron has just, she's just been the model of consistency.
She's an assassin. I
Yeah.
mean, just
Like,
a stone cold assassin.
like Brooke has the two best. Brooke's the only woman over 79 this year. She's thrown over 79 twice. But Cameron has four over 77. And at
Hmm.
pre, the biggest competition of the year, she threw a PB of 78.88 and beat Brooke, Deanna, Rachel, Janae, Anita, who are
Yeah.
like all of the women that we just talked about. So she's just so good.
Yeah. Um.
Deanna Deanna could have something really special in store. Like she threw 78.53 at USA's, which was
Looked amazing at USA's.
her best mark since 2021, which where she broke the American record, and then unfortunately was dealing with that ankle injury. Headed to Tokyo for the Olympics, but she's back now. We haven't seen her. A lot of these women, we saw them in Silesia in the middle of August. Deanna's just been in the lab since USA's. And she said after USA's, like, this is the best she's felt since she won her world title in 2019. There was a lot of talk with the people, like other people I was talking to at USA's, that like she looks like she is ready to just blast through 80 again. So, I mean, it's hard to bet against all of these women. Even Rachel, like, she's
Yeah.
more
Yeah.
fluctuations with kind of the foul trouble she's had this year, but she's thrown 78.80, 77.81,
Yeah. It's
like
not a fluke.
76
Yeah.
high.
Yeah.
No, it's just a matter of
She's the real deal.
if she can keep it out of the cage, kind of.
Hmm.
And then Janae like has the pedigree of a two-time global medalist, but this year like she hasn't broken 75 in 3 or 4 months now,
Hmm.
which is when you look at just how stacked this field is. Like we could see a realistic scenario where it takes 78.50 to medal or something insane like that. And I think there's only three women in the field that I think have something like that in the tank. So that might be a little bit of like a teaser towards my podium, but
Yeah. I mean, you talk about Janae. I mean, like, yeah, what's her best mark? 70, she hasn't thrown that for, yeah, that was early. That was in May.
yeah.
Um, you know, could she medal? I think it's definitely a possibility, but I think if you look at, the other Americans even, I mean, look at Rachel, Deanna, and Brooke. I don't know if I'd put her ahead of those, others. And just, I'm still thinking like Annette got the silver medal, and then she's at home now. Just a crazy how deep the American hammer throwers are right now for the female side. Um, but you think 78.50? Just I don't know if I'd go that high to medal, but you never know. Hammer can be funny. You throw a
Yeah.
few in the
I mean,
cage, it gets a little topsy turvy.
yeah. I mean, that's like the best case scenario, I think. Like obviously that'd take a near PB from Cameron and then really okay, now I'm just fully exposing who is going to be my podium. But that'd take a really like a near PB day from Cameron and then really good ones for Brooke and Deanna too. But I don't know. I feel like it's not entirely out of the realm of possibility to have all the things sync up like that. Um, I just teased it, so I'll just let it rip now. I've got Cameron defending her title, taking the win. I've got Deanna for silver, and then Brooke for bronze.
And that's kind of exactly what I had. I was kind of, thinking, should I get, cute with my pick and have Cameron not win? Because I was going to go Cameron right off the bat. And if I didn't have Cameron win, I was almost picking Deanna. But I tell you what, just to make it a little different, I'm going to go Deanna as my win. I'm doing it. I'm just on the Deanna train right now. I really
Yeah.
am. I just love the way she looked at USA's. She's won this meet before. Let's not forget that. It's been a while. I'll go. Screw it. I'm going Deanna Price. The Price is right this year. I'm going to go her for the win, Cameron for second, Brooke for third.
I think it is.
And Rachel, who knows, the wild card, I did write surprise medalist. I don't know if I just wrote down everybody. I don't know. I don't, but I think, Rachel Rickison might, maybe get in there. But those are my three. I'm going Deanna, Cameron, and Brooke, DCB.
Yeah. And just a testament to this event is we've talked about, I think we've mentioned like 6 women at this point. There's 3 other 77-meter throwers in Krista Turvo, Soya Kosonen, and Jiali Zhang, the world U20 record holder, who just haven't even gotten brought up yet. This event is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm still going with those 3, though. Still going with those 3.
Yeah, I think it's when you look at just like the combination of, I mean, Brooke has, like, she's coming off of a like worst case scenario day where she didn't even break 70 in Silesia, but even a not so great day at USA's, she threw 75 mid. She's thrown 79 twice. I think she threw like 77 high or something at pre to finish behind Cameron. So there is still the potential of her like having a bad day, but she's had more good days than bad days this year. And then Deanna and Cameron have just been like, they just don't have bad meets really. So it's going to be a fun one to watch.
Indeed.
Moving to men's hammer now on day 4. This one is...
It's a wild one.
It has historic potential. We mentioned it earlier. We've got 6 guys over 81 coming into this one. You've got 2 guys over 83. Neither one of them named Ethan Katzberg.
Yeah.
Katz has a season's best of 82.77. This year has been insane for the men's hammer. And like I've talked about it a little bit, but it's so much fun to see the way this event has developed because after last year, it seemed like we could be heading towards 15 years of no one touching Ethan. And now he's coming into this one having lost 3 of the last 4. Like, this event has, you literally could not hope for men's hammer to have gone any better this year.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at, the list right here. I mean, I think you said it earlier, 6 men over 81.27, which is a massive throw in the men's hammer. And I saw the number 7 on the list. I didn't even realize he's throwing that. I forgot he threw that. Was Paweł Fajek, 5-time world champ. At 79, I completely forgot about him. I mean,
sneaky one at Polish champs.
He throws 80 meters. That could medal. I don't think we're going to have 3 guys over 83 meters at this meet. I don't know. I mean, I just think that's just hard to really, but you never know. I might be wrong. I mean, you look at, one thing I want to talk about too is Rudy Winkler. Could we have an American medal? I mean, Lance Deal was the last American to medal in a major championship. That was the 96 Olympics. And I should have looked at, I don't know if an American male has ever medaled in this event at Worlds.
I doubt it because
I don't think Judd
been around since '83.
Yeah, I don't think Judd ever medaled. Judd Logue, he would have been, a guy, but I don't think Lance Deal ever medaled. So I should know that. I should have looked into that more.
I'm checking right now.
I don't think so, but Rudy has a legitimate chance to medal.
Yeah.
And I am going to be rooting like crazy for him to do that, obviously, because I'm very biased American, but
U.S. men have never gotten a
they've
medal.
never medaled. Yeah, so that's kind of a crazy stat. Um, but I mean, Benchalaz, the world leader at 83-18. I mean, even the French. I mean, I'm terrible with pronouncing some of these names. Um, and then you have another Olympic medalist in Kokan. I mean, it's just Emerald. I mean, it's just I don't know how you go through this list. I mean,
Yeah,
it's just a brutal Hell's Kitchen of Hell's Row of just of names here. But even having said that, like Katzberg is the most beatable he's looked in 2 years, I'd say. But going back to to be the champ, you got to take the belt off of him. And maybe I don't I'll let you go first, or either way. But I just Katzberg is a guy who just knows how to throw far at these big meets. Knows how to get knows him and his coach Dylan Armstrong, who comes from the Bondarchuk system, famous Soviet coach. They just had their training so dialed in. They know how to get their body so ready for these meets. And it's a skill to throw far at these meets, where you have to go through the prelims and then you have to go to the final. And when the tension's the highest, who can relax their body and let the throw happen. And that is a skill into it of itself, just almost as important as throwing far. And Katzberg has shown he has that. So because of that, maybe I won't go too far, but I'm picking him to win. I'm going. The cat is out of the bag. Ethan Katzberg.
Yeah. When you look at the top three guys who have broken 82 this year, so that's Ben Salash, Olympic silver medalist, Rudy, and Ethan. Mm-hmm. Just looking at the way their seasons have played out, I think is really interesting because for Benz, he was throwing really well early in the season, but then you look at between August 2nd and August 16th, he went 81.94 on the 2nd, 81.49 on the 8th, 83.18 world lead on the 12th, and 81.77 on the 16th. So that is just a absurd string of competitions heading into this one. And then but it's kind of the same form Rudy was showing earlier in the year where he went 83.16 at pre and then through 80.47 or whatever it was in LA and then 81.47 to take the US title. But then while Benz has been picking up so much steam, Rudy's only competed once, and it was a bad day at NACAX that I'm not really putting a ton of stock into. Mm-hmm. It was basically just him versus Danny Hott, and that
he was enjoying the Bahamas. Was it Bahamas?
Yeah,
right? He was just enjoying the Bahamas. Taking in the views. Had a pina colada, but yeah, maybe it was just that.
Yeah, so
and probably training through it pretty hard because
I mean he said he was training through USA's and 81.47.
Yeah,
but Benz is coming into this one as hot as you can possibly be. Rudy, it seemed like he's cooled off a little bit because you've seen just these battles between Benz and Ethan, but he's still probably in really good form. And then Ethan, he's coming in. It's not 2024 for him, but he's still thrown 82.73 in Kenya earlier in the year, 81.80, 81.73, 81.33, 81.22. He's lost 3 of his last 4 coming into this one. 2 losses to Benz and a loss to Rudy at pre. But he's only had 2 meets this year where he hasn't broken 80 compared to 5 meets for Benz and 4 for Rudy. So he's still just the king. And the 84-meter throws haven't been there like they were for him twice last year. But I'm on the same page as you. It's so hard to bet against Ethan. So
and he throws well at these meets. I think it was in Budapest. Did he not throw a then PB?
He threw he threw a 2-meter PB.
Yeah,
flying and then tacked on. He had never broken 80 before. He throws 81.18 on the first throw of qualifying, and then throws 81.25 to take the win.
Yeah, so I mean, like I said, it is such a skill to throw far at these meets to go through. It's such an unusual time. You've heard all these athletes talk about the timing, and they have you wait in these rooms, and the qualifying, and you have to walk over here, and then they hold you here for the introductions, and then you have to have the final, which is a different day. It is a unique setup. Like I said, along with the tension and the pressure of it being a world championship. Some people just know how they are good at going through these things. Ryan Crouser, we've seen him. He's just very good at Joe Kovacs. He's very good at going through it. And in his young career, Ethan Katzberg has shown he is just really good at, doing everything he needs to do to put himself in a situation to throw really far when it matters. And that's a testament to himself, to his coach, to his training. I apologize for the baby in the background if you do hear that. But she's going to be excited for the hammer final for the men's hammer too.
Yeah, she better be.
Yeah, but it's just I know these winning picks I'm doing are probably really boring.
Yeah,
but because I'm not kind of going out of the lane too much, but I'm not going to pick Ethan Katzberg. I'm just it's not happening. So that's kind of when I look at it, I'm just not doing it. Like I said, Ben Salaz, like I said, he's on fire. He's medaled at these meets before, but I think Ethan just has a different gear at these meets right now. Until I see otherwise, but until then, I'm gonna go Ethan.
Yeah, I was writing down these picks. I was having the same struggle as you. I'm like, I feel like I'm just picking like the odds-on favorite every event, but they're the favorite for a reason. Like, there is going to be insanity that is impossible to predict in every event. We kind of just need to accept that when we're making these picks, but like, we're looking at tangible results, and like, there's a reason that Ethan Katzberg is like a heavy favorite to win. And it may be a boring pick, but it's probably going to end up being the right pick.
I haven't even seen the betting odds yet, because I know they always do betting odds at this meet. There's always going to be a site that has the betting odds. I haven't seen any. I haven't looked into that yet. I'm curious how they have it. But
I saw odds for the hundreds came out like yesterday, so maybe they'll be out for the throw.
Yeah, I'm curious what they have for Crouser, but I don't know.
So I've got Ethan holding on to the gold. I've got Bentz repeating his silver from Tokyo or from Paris, and I've got Rudy taking bronze, breaking that medal drought.
It's a huge drought. It is he'd be the first ever. Oh wow. Okay. Well, let's see. I was those are my top two. Ethan and Bentz. I know Rudy is someone I want to put in there. For the medal. I just almost feel like as an American, and I just have to do it. Maybe Trey Knight hits a monster throw and puts himself in there. But I'm going to go the Ukrainian for my bronze.
Mihailo, so you've got a podium repeat from Paris?
Exactly. I'm going that same podium, 1, 2, 3. I think Rudy's going to do really well. And like I said, I really do hope he medals, but I'm just, maybe that's just a boring pick. I'm going this 1, 2, 3. It's happened before. So I'm going to go that, 1, 2, 3. I'm going Ethan to repeat again, pick up his third straight major championship. Distance, I think Ethan throws a seasonal best. So I say that. I think he goes over 83 meters.
Yeah. He just, like you said, throwing well at this stage in the format of these competitions is something that not everyone can do. He's proven time and time again he can pull that off. I love Mihailo, and like him, Ethan, and Merlin Hummel are 24, and
Merlin's another guy.
Ethan and Merlin are both 23.
Yeah.
So when we get like 4 years down the road, like the things they might be doing when they're actually like at their like physical peak could be just ridiculous. But yeah, Mihailo's, a great pick. He's been over 84 times, season's best of 81.66, third behind Ethan and Rudy at solid competition or solid results in some of the other big competitions. Merlin's been really good too. He's been over 81 twice.
Yeah, I don't think I picked the German to medal so far, which just feels wrong. I feel
Yeah,
I gotta throw some. I
that
mean, we'll get men's javelin. We'll get there, but
yeah, I think that's going
yeah,
to be changing in the next
yeah.
event. But for Merlin, I feel like this year has been such a breakout for him, but I feel like he might just need one more year to really be throwing it around with the big dogs. And then Jan Chassanon, the French guy you had mentioned, is such an enigma to me because he's thrown 81 meters 3 times this year at like tiny meets. And then whenever he goes against like real competition, he's finished like fifth or sixth. Um, and I feel like kind of a hater because I feel like I've been harping on that every single time he throws this year. But I'm just like, don't get trapped by the marks because he doesn't actually throw that well when it matters. Um,
He could show. You never know that these things.
yeah, I mean,
It could happen. I just think that the field of other athletes who have done it at this meet, there's just so many names to jump ahead of.
yeah,
It's just a brutal event, the men's hammer right now.
yeah. Even like you mentioned, like Pavel Fidek going 79. Like he was fifth last year in Paris, I think.
Yeah, that's a
And
guy who's got that champion DNA in him too. I mean,
yeah,
5-time world champ. I mean, he's medaled at. I mean, that he's just a scary looking dude. Let's just be honest. I mean, his calves are just outrageous. If you look at the build on his legs, um, but yeah, it's just going through this list. I mean, I'm really hoping for Rudy. I mean, there's a few athletes I'm really circling. I'm rooting for. I talked about Urinde and the discus. I want her to medal real bad. I want Peyton to medal, and Rudy, of course. I mean, I want to see this. He's had a great career. I want to see him pull out a medal.
yeah. I might be losing some of my like journalistic integrity picking
Oh
Rudy,
yeah.
but I
Well,
mean
yeah.
the guys when you throw 83-16 and over 81 a bunch of times, like you're worthy of a bronze medal at least, I think.
Yeah, I think he said today's also an officially Nike athlete on his Instagram. I
He
thought he was
did.
already,
Yeah.
but I guess it's more of a contract. So congrats to Rudy as well. So good to see that. I do want to see him back in the polo shirt. I do miss him in the polo shirt. So Rudy Polo wins the meet, I think. But yeah,
Yeah.
standard. Yeah,
Nike's got to make those for the
yeah.
USATF. Moving into men's Jav now. This is going to be on day 6. There's only qualifying rounds on day 5, I think, which kind of sucks. But men's Jav, the year got started off with an absolute bang in Doha when you had Julian Weber break 91, Neeraj Chopra break 90 for the first time.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of dipped a little bit. Like we had a Diamond League that was won in 83-60. I'm like, come on, guys, what are we doing here? But Julian Weber came back and saved us all. 91-51 to win the Diamond League final in Zurich. He's coming into this one as hot as you can be. And for a guy that's never won a global medal
Which
before,
is crazy to think. I mean,
fourth
yeah.
fourth in Tokyo, Eugene, and Budapest.
He's great at the European Championships, though. You got to give the man. He's won, I
Yeah,
think, a few of those.
yeah. But for a guy who is has a chance to get on the podium for the first time at this stage, I think he's a near lock to get that done this year.
Yeah, I mean, looking at the list, I think we're going to get to him soon, but Julian Weber, I think, is definitely the man. He's the world leader. He is the Diamond League champ. Like I said, no major medals, which is kind of crazy. But just the consistency, and he's a guy. He's shown he could throw pretty well at these big meets. And the Diamond League is probably the closest non major championship type of meet that you had, the Diamond League final. And he comes out, I think he throws over 90 meters twice, just, stamps it down. I think getting back to just the logic of having to pick at least one German athlete to do really well, I just have, for a throwing event, that has to happen. It's just blasphemy if it doesn't. But Arshad Nadim, let's talk about him a little bit. He's a guy, the Olympic, record holder. He's competed, I think, one time this year.
Just at, like the Asian game
Yeah, something
in
really,
May.
Yeah, something.
which is all he ever does. Is he only competes at like random Asian championship or like
Yeah,
the
and it,
Islamic games or
it
something.
may be because of his funding. I'm not, like I said, I don't want to, I don't know. I don't want to say what I
Yeah.
don't know, but one crazy stat that I pulled up, he's only competed 10 times in the last 5 years, which is, how is that possible? Like, you figure 8 of those
And
are major championships, or
he just competes at the major, gets the standard for the next year,
yeah,
and then just doesn't do anything. Like in 2023, he only competed at Worlds. That was his only.
yeah.
I mean, that's what like Ryan's doing, but
But no, this is our Nadim makes a career out of this. I mean, he's
yeah,
got it down. He's like
it's
Puxatawny Phil. He shows up once a year, does his job, goes back into hiding. Um, I just don't know what type of shape he's in. Nadim, that
it's
is. I just don't know.
impossible to
Yeah,
determine. Like he's the last couple years, like he's shown to be in great shape. Like obviously last year, shade under 93 in Paris. I think he was silver behind Niraj, I think, in Budapest.
mm-hmm.
Fifth, I think, in Eugene before throwing 90 to win the Commonwealth title a couple weeks later. Um, so he just shows up and just gets stuff done.
Yeah.
Um,
Just an effortless looking throw. Even when he throws, it looks like he's kind of jogging.
yeah,
He's a big kind of long build. It looks like he's kind of not moving so fast and doesn't really even hit a huge kind of a bent block leg a little bit, but it's just an arm of a god, and just connects, and the thing goes out 92 meters. He's a guy, like other certain athletes who just hold your breath when they're throwing. He's one of them. It's like any one of these throws can just be gone. He can go nuclear any throw. So I mean, I don't know if I have him down for a medal because I have no idea.
mhm.
But he's just such a wild card. And you talk about a guy who's competed a lot. Let's talk about Niraj Chopra. He's the reigning champion of the event, and this is one stat I was looking at. It was kind of crazy. He has not finished lower than second at a meet since 2021.
I
Chopra.
I saw that on Twitter after like
I
the
looked it up.
like
Like, you got to be
random
kidding
like
me.
Indian fan accounts.
Yeah.
I think part of it was like they were trying to cope with the fact that he finished 6.5 meters behind Julian,
Well,
but then
yeah,
like
maybe.
he's been top two in like 30 straight meets, and
That's
I'm like,
hard to do, especially
that's
in the javelin,
really
because the
sick.
javelin is one of these events that some days you just don't have it. You're not flying it right.
Yeah,
Especially in the javelin, to have that kind of streak, to not go under two, and he's competed at the big championship meets. It's kind of crazy. I mean, he's another guy who just knows how to compete really well, even if his body's not all the way there. I definitely expect Chopra on the medal stand. I'll say that. I don't know what position, but I don't see him, you know, leaving the medal stand. And then you have some wild cards. Luis da Silva, the Brazilian, throwing 91 meters at that the meet. Was it the Brazilian Championships? I'm not
yeah,
sure. It was, and he threw two throws over 90 meters that meet. So I mean, you look at his other throws this year; they're not at 90 meters certainly, but you never know what type of shape he's going to be in.
yeah.
Um,
I mean his major his only like major international competition this year was I think the Paris Diamond League, and he threw 86-32. I think it was third behind just Julian and Niraj. So
Yeah, that's a
like
nice competition. I mean, yeah, it's
yeah,
not 90, like he's not recreating that type of effort, but it's still a good competition, and you never know. I mean, these things, you can have people pop out and win, like especially the men's javelin. We've seen it before. My guy was a Walcott in the Olympics, kind of came out and did a hit that back in with for Trinidad and Tobago. But looking at this list, another person who would be a kind of a wild card. I'm like a little biased, but let's talk about Curtis Thompson. He's got the fourth best throw in the world right now. Bro Greer is the last American to win a medal. That was at the 2007 World Championships. Maybe he sneaks on the medal stand somehow. I mean, I just you don't know. I mean, I know the weather doesn't play as much in the javelin as the other events because you're wearing spikes, and it's less prone to kind of slip out your hand like a discus. Um, but I mean, I'm going to be rooting for Kurt. He's kind of carried the flag for men's American javelin for a long time now, and he won one NACAC. He just
Yeah.
ran away with that. But it'd be nice to see him get a medal.
Yeah. And for Curtis, like the guys who have thrown 87 multiple times this year is Julian Weber, Neeraj Chopra, and Curtis Thompson. Like
Yeah.
it's not after because he hit the big one at Texas Relays, PB as
Early,
the season
early. Yeah,
opener
might have been the opener.
in
Yeah.
March. And then it was like, okay, can he get close to that again? And like USA's threw a shade under 84, which is a really good mark for him. And then he throws 87 again at NACAX with an
Yeah.
86 in that same series to back it up. So like this, it feels like the best chance in the last 5 years at least for an American to get on the podium. I think going into the podium now, I think Julian and Neeraj are top two. Like
Yeah.
there is the huge like asterisk of like what is Arshad Nadeem going to come
Yeah.
throw 90?
He go 98 meters. He's going to break the world. He's going to.
But I don't know. I just feel like there's got to be some time where he just doesn't have it on the second day of the year that he's competing. So I think I have Julian for gold. I mean, first global medal, winning a gold is can't do much better than that. I have Neeraj taking silver, and then I think the only pick out of this entire thing where I went a little bit off the board is I've got Kishore Walcott taking bronze. Because
Really?
he threw 86.30 in Brussels, his best mark since 2022. He threw 84.95 to finish 6 centimeters behind Neeraj at the Diamond League final in Zurich.
He is a gamer.
Yeah, and like
I mean,
the last couple worlds haven't been great for him. He didn't make the final in 2022. And then I think 2023 he was a DNS, I believe is what his World Athletics page said. But last year threw a season's best in Paris to finish 7th. And it's crazy. This is a guy who won an Olympic title at 19 a decade and a half ago and is still a serious medal contender.
Yeah, because I was thinking, like, how old is he? But he won so early.
Yeah.
And he's, his birthday's 93, so what's that, 32? I mean, that's not too old. I mean,
No, like
so.
he could make it.
Oh, the math is terrible. I'm sorry, my math is.
Let me see. 12, 16, 21, 24. He could very well make it to 6 Olympics.
Yeah.
Especially from like Trinidad. Like it's not like he has a ton of competition.
No, yeah, he's going to get that Trinidad jersey every time he wants.
Yeah. So that's my top 3. I've got Julian and Neeraj, I think, are a kind of clear top 2. Arshad Nadeem pending. And then I've got Kishore Walcott taking bronze.
Nice. So another person to bring up is the Japanese guy, Sakiyawa, ranked 5th. He threw it at the in Tokyo, but he's got a little home field advantage going on. Maybe he pops one. I don't know. But my picks, I'm going Julian number 1. He's just too hot right now. I think he's in really great form, in tune with his body. I just think it's time. Like he's kind of overdue for a medal. I think looking back, there were opportunities he could have maybe had before. I think this year he doesn't slip out of his hands. I think he wins. I think Chopra's just always a great competitor. I don't see him. I see that one streak he has of finishing within the top 2. I see that extending. Such a random streak, but
he's got to keep it alive, though.
I think that's happening. This is the and for 3rd, like I said, a party was like, oh, get Curtis Thompson. I mean, I do want to pick it, but I think Nadeem is gonna. I can't believe I'm doing this. I'm gonna pick Arshad Nadeem to go in there and he's such a scary guy on the runway.
Yeah,
like I said, it's just he throws it so far so effortlessly. And if he lines it up, I mean, gosh, he's such a scary athlete. So I have no idea. He could throw 85 meters. I have no idea, and finish 8th. But I I do like your pick with Kishore and Volka. I do like that, but I'm going to go Arshad Nadeem for my bronze.
Yeah, I mean, there's no shame in picking the defending Olympic champion
Yeah,
with the guy who has like the best throw the last 4 years or whatever. It's just like I was really hoping, like if it is just a funding issue, I was really hoping that like with the Olympic title, some of like the Diamond League meet organizers would be like, "Hey, let's try a little harder to get this guy to our meets." But nothing has changed, and it's still as impossible to predict where he's going to be uh, at the major championship as
yeah. He
it
he
is.
did
But
post a throw on his Instagram. It was like on a story of just like a training throw. It's hard to tell how many steps he worked into. He just saw the final three.
mhm.
Like I said, the javelin just pops out of his hand so fast. It just flies out like a dang bullet. I mean, he just throws it so pure. And when I saw that, I was like, "Ooh, man, I just he's just like I said, he's just a scary athlete on the runway." I think all those other throwers, when he's on there, they're all going to be looking at. They're all going to be watching,
Yeah,
be like, "What does he have in the tank today?"
maybe
Because
like
they know what he
please
can
don't
do.
throw 93.
They know what he's capable of doing. So I think everybody's going to be watching him to see like what is going on here. Because I legit have no idea what type of shape he's in.
Yeah, it's as much of a mystery as
Yeah.
Ryan is,
Which I
but
kind of enjoy. The more I talk about it, like you build up this mysteriousness, I kind of
yeah,
enjoy this, this mystic factor of our show on the Dean. I do appreciate it.
it's
So
just part of his marketing strategy. Is
yeah,
like
I love it. Yeah,
the way people get intrigued, the way to make people care about the javelin throw is just to disappear.
yeah. It's like the Undertaker and then like WWE when like these wrestlers they disappear for a while and then you hear the music like, "Oh God, is that the Undertaker's music?" You just hear the bell ringing. It's Arshad Nadeem comes out. And it's like, oh God, our shot's gonna throw 92 meters, isn't he? Yeah,
We got to get Tzengko on the line to organize something like
yeah,
Tokyo.
yeah.
Women's shot moving ahead to day 8 now. We got another no finals day on day 7.
hmm
Is
This is
there,
a fun. This is my favorite event right now.
do you think this top 3 is as clear as it seems like it is?
You're talking about the women's shot?
Yeah.
No, not at all. I don't think it's set at all. So I mean, are you thinking Chase, Sarah, and Jessica?
Yeah.
Is that no? I don't think that's. I think that there's a high possibility, high probability, but I mean, I think I wouldn't count out Yamisi. I know she has a big kind of range in her top end, her low end, um, and I mean, as far as I understand, like Maddie White should be competing.
Yeah.
So this is she is a great competitor at these meets. She always throws well at these meets. And I think she's at a PB in Eugene. I think she had a PB. And let's not forget, she is one Yamisi Ogunleye final round throw away from the Olympic champion, Maddie Weish. She's this athlete kind of, I think it's kind of scary. She could, hit something big. So I actually don't think this top 3 is set in stone at all. I think there are, even like I said, Jada Ross, she could put one together. And
Yeah.
I mean, she almost medaled last year in Paris. I don't think it's set in stone at all. So yeah, I mean, I think those top 3 you mentioned. I think 2 of them have to be in the top 3 in some
Hmm.
capacity. I don't see how that changes. But I think there's a lot of great athletes. I think it's deep and it's talented. So yeah, that's how this is probably my favorite meet going to this competition. This women's shot group of ladies. This is a scary, scary, group of women.
Yeah. I do think like last year, this was probably the most, like calling it a random podium feels kind of offensive. But when you look at like Yemi, Maddie, and Song Yan
No one
finishing in the
predicted
top,
that.
like I don't think anybody would have had
No.
any of them medaling, let alone like
Yeah.
all 3. So that's just it is like some kind of hesitation going into it, but maybe there'll be some like regression to the mean. I'm just you look at there's been 36 competitions of women throwing over 20 meters this year. Chase Jackson, Sarah Mitten, and Jessica Schilder have combined for 33 of those
hmm
36 competitions. So
You could have said that going into Paris. I mean, something
Yeah,
like you could have probably pulled a stat like that for Paris, though.
yeah, it
So
is. That's the thing. Like I was talking about earlier, where like Paris just makes you a little scared to make predictions because you just saw in like plain view just how random this can be. But for Chase, Jessica, and Sarah, like they have just been so far ahead of the whole.
yeah,
Like Chase three times over 2090, a
and she had another 28.
2084 as
Yeah.
well.
hmm
Um, she's had
Jessica also, people I think have slept on Jessica. She's been over 20 meters 11 times this year.
yeah, and that
So
and the way she bounced back in Zurich with that 2026, I think it was, like she had a couple quote unquote down meets where she was throwing like 19 mid. And so I think that was a good marker for her going into Worlds, especially like beating Chase and Sarah, obviously, which she also did in Monaco about a month and a half prior. Like you can't have much more confidence, I think, rolling into Worlds than that. And for Sarah, like it's a matter of, I guess, if she can stay in the ring. Like we saw the same thing with the Diamond League final last year, where she had that like throw that looked like it was like 2080 at the absolute minimum. Barely tapped the top of the toe board, I think, is where the foul was on that one. This one, she falls out of the circle, gets retroactively taken away her Diamond League crown.
yeah,
Uh,
that was tough to watch.
that was
How it went down, it was definitely a foul.
Yeah. I
That's
just
not
don't know
a
how they didn't catch that earlier.
in
Like,
real time, like the next, because the way the competition was, I mean, I know we're stopping a little, but they were doing the men's and the women at the same time, so there was like legit like 10 minutes in between each of her throws, probably.
yeah,
Um,
it,
so yeah, that was just kind of weird how that went down.
yeah, it messed so many things up for everyone because like the entire flow of the competition. We're getting off on a tangent
Yeah,
here,
I
but
know that was my
just
fault. Yeah,
handled so poorly
yeah,
by those officials there. Um, the big question I think heading into this one is Chase's finger, because like it's kind of confusing because she heard it before USA's, and then she threw 2084 at USA's, and threw what was it like 2090 at Brussels, I think it was,
hmm
and then in Zurich, like she just looked very different. Like her first throw was almost 21 meters, but
yeah.
on the tape on the left side of the sector.
Sector, yeah,
And then she just couldn't find it throughout the last five rounds. Still broke 20, which out of her 13 outdoor meets this year, she's only had one competition where she didn't break 20.
yeah.
Um, and
That's kind of a
so,
good thing too. When she looks so bad,
yeah,
like her like worst day, she's still putting 20 meters out. Like that's if you want to take any silver lining out of it, that's when she's on her absolute worst, can't keep the ball in the sector, she's still getting a 20-meter throw out.
yeah. If there is someone to break up that top three, like I think Madison Lee Weshie is probably the
Yeah,
best pick because she hasn't competed since pre, where she broke 20 for the first time and threw 2006. And like you said, I think it was World Indoors this year. If you like scratch that out, she's PB'd at every global final. I'm pretty sure since Doha, I want to say. Like going back that far,
it
even
may
like
be.
World Indoors in 2024, she just consistent and like her PB's a lot better now. So she might not necessarily keep that streak alive, but it's just a testament to the kind of championship competitor she can be. So maybe I'm being a bit like too final already, saying the top three I think is as clear as it feels like. But if there is someone to break it up, like Jada's obviously incredible, thrown 20 this year. Maggie, she's dealing with an elbow injury, I think,
hmm
after Zurich, which really sucks because I think she could have done something special in Tokyo if she's fully healthy, but I just don't know where she's going to be able to get to in the 3 weeks between Zurich and Tokyo. But yeah, if there, I don't think someone's going to break up that top three before we get to like the final podium picks. But if there is someone that does, I think it's probably going to be Maddie.
Yeah, that was the one to my when you said is it lock? I said Maddie is she's dangerous, so that would be the one. Another thing is like I think we're still waiting for 21 meters. I thought 21 meters may fall this year. We
Yeah.
got real close. It still may happen, but it's just these championship meets. It's tough. The way the competitions run and the weather has to. We don't want it to be rainy by any means. But and another thing too is Chase is going for the three-peat. So I think I made a post the other day or so. There's only been two women to ever do three in a row. You have Astrid Kumbernes, the German, what did in the '90s, and Val Adams did four in a row in the 2000s. So Chase is now going for a three-peat with this meet.
Yeah, and if I remember correctly, I think in Eugene and Budapest, Chase won in the first round.
Well, she's a first round thrower. Her throws when she went 2095 and Ironwood,
Ironwood,
those were first round.
Yeah,
like I was like, oh, she's going to go 21. But she's a first round.
Yeah, that's going to be just interesting to see like if that does happen. And like I said, like her first round in Zurich was a 20. It would have been if it was
out of bounds.
4 meters to the right, it would have been like 2095 again or something. But it like if she comes out swinging like that, which when she has done that this year, nobody's had an answer for it.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see how Jessica or Sarah or Maddie or Gong Li Zhao is still.
She is, yeah.
She threw 1979 at Chinese champs.
Yeah.
Like it's just going to be interesting to see, like, if Chase can do that and just kind of like drag everyone into the deep end right off the bat.
Yeah, that was kind of my thought. It was in the Diamond League as well. My thought is, I think there's several women that can win this competition. However, I think if Chase, like you said, goes out to 2090, that's going to mean one of these other women is going to have to do something they've never done before, hit a PR in the biggest stage there is. Could it happen? Yeah, it could. It could. But I think if Chase goes out to 2080, 2090, I think it's going to be really hard, if not impossible, for one of these other women to catch that. However, like you said, if she kind of tinkers around, keeps in the low 20s even, that's when it can get a little interesting. That's when you could have, Jessica has thrown over this distance. Sarah has thrown, I keep thinking she threw, what she threw, but it was a foul at Zurich. But she still has thrown, almost 2070 this year.
Yeah.
So I think, like I said, Chase's high has the biggest high end of any of these women in the field. And if she hits that high end, that last gear, I think it's Chase, absolutely.
Yeah, if we're going into podiums now, I think Chase is going to do something like that. It's kind of a revenge for her on two fronts because one, she didn't get the chance to compete at the Olympics when it was in this stadium in 2021. And then obviously with the way Paris turned out last year, like there's two things that she's kind of going into this with like a prove it mindset of being like, she's still on top, especially after missing out on the world indoor title as well each of the last 2 years. Like, she's going to be coming into this one with a full head of steam. She's got 2.5 weeks after Zurich, this is on day 8. It's basically 3 weeks to get that finger just right. She said she was going to see a specialist after the Diamond League final. So I think Chase is going to come into this one with a full head of steam. And I think it's going to be something big early, and there's part of me that like hopes that's wrong because it'd be more fun if we did have like some back and forth. But maybe we'll see Chase go 2090 and then Sarah goes 2095 and then Chase goes 21. I don't know, but
that's hard to do. I mean, you never know. You could have a Doha for the woman, like in 19, where these guys just threw outrageous marks at it. Like, it could happen. It'll be tough.
Yeah, I've got Chase, Sarah, Jessica as my top
Hmm.
three.
I mean, man, that's pretty much what I had too. Damn. But if I did want to keep it interesting, that's my top three. I will say that is going to be my top three as well. I have Chase, Sarah, Jessica. You never know. This could be the Sarah, like Joe had his revenge tour. This could be the Sarah Minton revenge tour too after the Diamond League, because that also costs a little bit of money too. Which
Yeah,
I was looking at the money, I was like, oh, that does hurt. Um, but if somebody does crash the party, I know we haven't talked about Yamisi at all, the Olympic champion, which is crazy, but it's that type of year. I would say Maddie. Um, you know, Maddie Weish crashing the party. That I would go with her. But I'm going to go Chase, Sarah, Jessica. They've just been the class, the cream of the crop this year. Like I said, my logic is if Chase hits that high gear, no one's chasing her, no one's catching that.
yeah,
So
and it really does just say so much about how good those three have been this year that like it's the rest of the world is as good as all those women are, and it's like it would take like a pretty much an off day for one of the big three, I guess, to have someone kind of shake up those medals.
yeah.
We've got so day 8 is a double feature because we've also got the women's
Oh, double
jav
features are the
final.
best.
Women's jav, we were
It's
talking about it a little before we started
yeah,
recording. Where do we go with this one? Like there's
yeah. So
there's 30 different podiums you could come up with in
yeah,
different orders with different athletes.
no
And
one wants to be the queen of the event. I mean, no one. This is like in UFC or these things when you have a different title holder every. There's never and still. It's always and new. And you think going into the year, you think Kitaguchi, win the Olympics, being the world champion. She would be kind of that one. Okay, she's going to take women's javelin and just kind of start rolling with it. And you look at her past couple meets, and it's just been rough. I mean,
yeah,
I didn't see exactly what was happening, but I mean, she had one meet at 50 meters. Like this, I mean, in her series, like she, just in her next meet was 60 meters. I mean, I don't know if she's not 100%. I don't know what's going on, but those are just not the Haruka I know.
yeah, that was so she hadn't competed for like a month and a half, almost 2 months. And then the 50 was in Lausanne, which if we're like kind of giving a pass for that one.
Yeah, but in the
Um,
rain, I mean, Javelin isn't affected as much. I don't know what her
yeah,
spikes were doing, but because wearing spikes on the rubber, and it's when you put it in the plant, but it's 50 meter. I mean,
yeah. I
she
mean,
should be
like
able to three-step,
Adriana
more.
Valarie still threw
Yeah,
63 that
that's what
day.
I mean.
So
Yeah, I mean,
it is it is an outlier, like even compared to some of the other women in that field. But like I'm more concerned about not breaking 61 and finishing dead last in the Diamond League final in
yeah,
seemingly really good conditions.
yeah,
Like
great
that
conditions. Yeah,
so that one it really just kind of has me like scratching my head because it's not necessarily unusual for her to go like the month and a half between competitions. Kind of the same thing like for Niraj, like he usually takes like 2 months off before the global final and then comes out and hits one, but she just and like she was solid enough, maybe not super dominant, but like early on in the season, but dominance has never really been her thing. It's kind of just
no,
been hitting it right when she needs to at the global final and at the Diamond League final. But it just the last two meets have just I just don't really know what to make of them. Like she's coming into a home world championships
yeah.
where last year we were like, "Oh, okay, like she's coming into this one with a world title and an Olympic title under her belt and she's going home. Like she's going to be unstoppable next year."
Hmm.
So maybe there is an injury factor to it, but it's just kind of the curious case of Haruka Kitaguchi right now.
Yeah, and I'm a huge fan of hers as well. I love the joy she competes with. It's just when you see those marks, it's a head scratcher. I don't know how else to say it. It
Yeah.
just is. So, and I think in general, I was thinking about the women's javelin. I think you look at all the other throwing events that are going right now. I mean, I don't want to be too critical, but the women's javelin is just missing that competitive excellence that the other throwing events have right now. It just the marks are just low. You have different people. It's like some of them are very young too. Like Valarie, how old is Valarie? She's 21.
She's
Adriana Valagos, or
21.
20.
Yeah.
She's a baby. I mean, she would be like a junior in college in the U.S.
Yeah.
system if she was over here. And obviously, you have the Chinese the Great Chinese she's not able to compete. The
If
Zi's young. I mean,
I think everyone knows if she was competing, Yan
like
Ziyi would be my gold medal
she's
pick.
legit. Yeah. I mean, but she can't compete due to her age.
Yeah.
So I think in the next couple of years, I think we're going to see this. It's in every event has hills and valleys, and but yeah, right now it's wide open, and it's like not because they're not like you have a lot of people throwing far. Like we could have 62 meters medal. Like
Yeah.
it could be something crazy like that.
I mean, last year I think it was like 63 low was
yeah. Well, there were two at 63 medal got silver. I think.
Yeah.
Silver and bronze were in the 63 range. But I mean, and I think some of the Diamond League meets you saw like, just not a lot of big throws. It's just that's where the event is right now. And trying to pick this event, this is an event I just, I just don't know. I think the person I would go with, I just like the way she's competed throughout her career. She's just really young. I mean, well, too, but I like Adriana Valagos. I mean, I think also getting second at the Diamond League, maybe that has a little fire in her. She's a little mad about that. But I just like the way she competes. And I just, who, if not her, then who? It's just like one of those. It's a tough event to pick.
Yeah, I'm on the same wavelength with Adriana Valagos. I've been really high on her. I think I had her medaling last year, and then she ended up not making the final, which is the same situation she was in Budapest, which I think she was like 19 and 20. So it's not that big of a deal, but she does at least on the global stage, her track record isn't the best. And she has the best throws in the world technically Victoria Hudson has the world lead.
Yeah.
But that was as one-off competition as you can get looking at what she's done the rest of this year. Adriana threw 66 high and then 67 21, I think.
22
in March and April. And she's been good. She's placed well in Diamond Leagues and stuff, but she hasn't thrown 64 meters since late June, and she's competed 5 or 6 times since then. And with that track record at global championships, there are some question marks there, but then I think it says a lot about the event that I'm talking about all of these kind of negative aspects of it, and I'm she's my gold medal pick. So it's Elina Tzengko of Greece, who has just been kind of a resurgent year after she had a really good 2022, and then struggled a little bit. Paris was a good building block for her, and now this year she's kind of blossomed. Diamond League champion most recently, thrown over 64 a couple times. I've got her taking silver, and it's just been really fun to watch her all year. Kind of, she was the previous world junior record holder before Yan Ziyi just obliterated.
Yeah, I mean,
the 15-year-old.
She's going to be scary.
But it's really good to kind of see Elina. It kind of in the same vein as how I was talking about Tripp in the men's shot, where we saw this potential a couple years ago, and now they're starting to kind of realize that.
Elena's still only 23. What is she?
I mean
that's really young. I mean,
you talked about the marks aren't.
We have 29-year-old
right
sophomores in college now. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, so.
But the next generation of women's jav, I think, is going to be really, really fun to watch because you've got Adriana, you've got Elina, who are kind of leading that charge right now. But then you've got you mentioned, Yan Ziyi, you've got Manuela Rotundo from the University of Georgia via Uruguay, who threw 64 this year. She'll be in Tokyo. Liana Davidson has thrown a shade under 64. There's the NCAA this year was crazy. Evelyn Bliss, who threw a shade under 61 and is one of two U.S. representatives here. Is just a sophomore or going into her junior year now, I believe.
Yeah, Bucknell.
Yeah, like we could be talking about this event in a very different way
I think it definitely is going to
2 or
swing that
3
way.
years down the
I
line.
100% feel that.
So I've got Adriana and Elina 1-2, and then that third spot.
Yeah, I'm looking at the list myself.
It's
It's
I'm
tough.
I'm going with Joanne Duplessis,
Yeah,
the
Olympic medalist. Yeah, I
Olympic
mean,
silver medalist from last year, and she hasn't done anything incredible this year, but she's just been throwing 62s like time after time after time. And at this point, like, when Haruka's been so up and down, and nobody else has really like taken command of that other podium spot, like consistency, I think, is the thing that you need to count on. And then last year we saw her throw a season's best in Paris. So that's just kind of like it feels weird
no, I like that pick
to not
actually.
have
I
Haruka
do like.
medaling, but I just like I don't know how much I can trust her, which it feels
She is
like
in front of the home crowd too.
it's
You have to remember that.
sickening to say
I'm
that
just. She's going to be in the home crowd.
about the world Olympic champion going into her home stadium. But that's my three is Vlagos, Tzengko, Duplessis right now.
Yeah, I like the Duplessis. I was actually thinking about the Duplessis pick. And I think she got married. Her name has changed. It was
Van Dyke
it
last.
was Van. Yeah, yeah. So I mean, I'm going Vilagos number one. I'm going Alina number two. For number three, I'm gonna, as much as I almost talk smack about her, I'm gonna go Haruka. In the home crowd, I just, you know, I, I don't know. I just feel 50 and 60. I mean, I think she should just pull something out. Something's gonna click. It doesn't make any sense logically. This is more of I'm going with my gut, my heart.
Yeah.
The Haruka fan club. So I'm going to go her for my bronze, but I think 1-2 is going to be the same top two, maybe different order from the Diamond League final we just witnessed.
I think kind of like you mentioned with Ryan, I think seeing how Haruka handles qualifying is going to be a really big indicator because like it's probably going to take 61 maybe like at least to get to top 12. Maybe like 60 mid or 60 low could make it through, but
which at her best she clears that. I mean,
yeah.
that's just
So
one and done. Put the spikes off, you're out.
So it's like if there's still a sort of like struggle for her to even make the final, that's when I think there's really some like true red flags I think that start to be raised.
Yeah, yeah. So, and this is later on, but even still, I mean, I keep thinking I pick her for my bronze, and I'm thinking, man, she did 50 meters. How can I pick her to medal? I mean, because like 50. I mean, I didn't see the throw or the series of throws because that was her best throw.
Yeah.
That day. Yeah, I just like I said, I have to just trust that she's going to figure it out. I'm not sure if she's dealing with an injury. That could be a total game changer in itself. But I just, this is the reigning Olympic and world champion we're talking about. I mean, that's a real resume.
Yeah.
And I just can't. It's just hard for me to leave her off. Like I said, I probably give too much into this whole like pedigree champion, but I just
mean
can't leave her off the podium
earned.
in Tokyo.
Yeah. It's deserved. Like they have earned the right to kind of get that little edge when there's like little like when you're coming down to like the finest details. Like they've earned the right to have that discussion of like they've done it before. So they have that kind of like proven edge, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Because this event was so hard to predict, I had to call in an expert for this one. And so I hit up Kara Winger to see what her, as a world silver medalist, Diamond League champion, American record holder, to see her takes on what this podium is going to shake out like. And
I'm
I
curious
have
here.
not heard back from her yet, but I will insert her picks here while I'm editing, and I hope they at least are somewhat similar to mine and Beau's, so we don't look really, really stupid.
Well, I'm okay with that. That wouldn't be the first time for me. So.
Women's picks to win. Adriana Villagos. Yes. Winner. My girl Sigrid Borga is going to get on the podium. I can feel it. And I very much believe in Victoria Hudson, even though she had that blip on the radar. After 67 this year, she shows up at major championships. I also believe that Mackenzie Little, despite a season she's not happy with so far, could really show up. And Haruka's been under so much pressure as a Japanese woman leading into this World Championships. But she could absolutely rise to that. So for now, Adriana Villagos going to be the winner. I also think Elina Tzengko, the Diamond League champion, could really show up in this final as well. But my podium right now is Villagos, Borga, Hudson. Amazingly, the men's competition feels even more wide open than the women's, but I have to believe that Julian Weber is going to pull through and win the gold in Tokyo. He's my gold medalist. It's going to be such a sweet victory after all of those fourth places. Niraj will always show up. Arshad Nadeem threw 86 meters in May and hasn't been seen since, but he's done that before and broke the Olympic record last year. So Julian, Niraj, Nadeem. Other honorable mentions, I would love to see an American medal. Curtis Thompson has it in him. 87 meters at NACAX, like he knows that he can do it. And this season for him is just reminiscent of 2022 when he was on fire. So let's do this, Curtis. And Luis Mauricio de Silva was in the Paris final last year, so there's absolutely no reason he couldn't repeat his 91 meters that he didn't throw very long ago. So let me redetermine my podium. Julian Weber, de Silva, Thompson.
All right, we're wrapping it up with men's discus. This is a good one to end out the slate with on day 9. We talked about it a little bit earlier.
Pulled it up here.
There's 4 guys in this field that have thrown 72 this year, 2 that have thrown 74.
Yeah.
I think probably like 10 or 11 at this point that have thrown 70.
Well, Rogier is not competing, but he's one of the 11. There's 11 that have thrown over 70 meters.
You've got Stahl, Lolison, Juhan.
Yeah, the French Juhan, that's the tricky one because he threw it. Mattis, remember Sam,
Sam, Lawrence,
Proofer,
Mika Sosna,
Ralford Mullings.
Clemens Proofer isn't going to be there.
Oh.
He didn't make the German team. The German team is
who was the German team?
Henrik Janssen, Steven Richter, Mika Sosna.
Mika Sosna, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so out of this field, you have 9 people in this field.
9 that have thrown 70 this year.
Yeah, taking out Rogier and Clement.
And then if you're looking at like PBs, then you throw in guys like Lucas Weiss-Heidinger, Alex Rose, and that number just continues to balloon into the most insane field we've ever seen. But what are you most looking forward to?
And you have a bunch of guys at 69 too.
Yeah.
That's the other thing. You have just as many guys almost at 68, 69 meters. So I mean this is on paper, this is the strongest discus field ever assembled. That is just kind of hard to argue factually. It just is. With 4 over 72. The thing I was thinking, it's kind of funny. It's that, it's like, I feel, Roger Stoner's not going to be, I feel like with Alenkna, I think everybody's going to be looking at Alenkna. It's like, everybody's just waiting. When is he going to get this monkey off the back? I remember this video of Steve Young. He was, Super Bowl quarterback, but when he won his first Super Bowl, he did like pretend to take a monkey off his back. I feel this is like with Alenkna. He just has to just get this first one, and then they'll start snowballing into this career we're all expecting of just championship after championship. But it's like, are Jamaican discus throwers his kryptonite? I don't know. This is what I was thinking. Because, even with Roger out, you're like, oh my gosh, Ralford Mullins is here. And I think, I think Alenkna has lost twice this year.
Both to Ralford.
Yeah, both to Ralford. It's insane. It's like Jamaican, and my wife is Jamaican, so I kind of joke around with, but it's just like Jamaican discus thrower is like his kryptonite. It's like it just and Ralford's a guy who could win this meet. I mean, we saw him, win a meet if he won Diamond League a few weeks ago against an amazing field. And Ralford's ability to throw 69 plus in a stadium has been proven. He can do it. He's done it multiple times now. I'm just a huge fan. Just technically, he's just so sound through the ring. Just beautiful technique. But even having said that, I think this is, this is Alina's. Everybody's gonna be seeing is he going to do it? Is he going to just finally win one? And he was so close in Paris. I mean, he broke the Olympic record, only to have it rebroken by Roger Stona. And then you look at the field, it's like, does Stahl have one more in the tank? I know we're kind of like forgetting about Stahl here, who at the last in Budapest hits the Olympic record. The World Championship record.
Yeah.
Was 71
46.
46. So, and he does the flex. I mean, on his last throw,
legendary. I think that's my favorite throws moment I've ever.
I mean, a lot of people have argued that is probably the singular best discus effort, not the distance, because obviously you go, there's farther marks. And it's not just Milliken Field and Ramona. Other, when they hit their marks, they hit them in big fields. I'm not going to even get to that. Like
the Gerd throw you posted.
Yeah, like he threw it you could hear the wind. It's Ramona and I forget where it was. Estonia. It was somewhere out in Estonia, I think. I'm not sure. But Daniel Stahl, I mean, it's a guy, I don't want to leave him out. And then Chris Johnsay had this streak where he was throwing 72 meters every week, and he kind of went into a little bit of a lull. But I think it starts with Alina, this meet, to see how he looks. I think he's going to get through the qualifying okay. But look at his first throw in the final. Sometimes when you see it's not there, it's like, okay, what's going on here? But, he comes out throwing maybe 69. He hits a 71. Man, it's going to be really hard for some of the other field to really hang in there with him. So,
yeah, I think
in a stadium.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing I think for Mikolas is I just wrote down no excuses this year. Like, I've been a very big Mikolas Alekna apologist in the past and being like, no, last year, he threw really good. It's just unfortunate he got nipped by 3 centimeters. He won a silver medal at 19 or whatever he was in Eugene.
Yeah.
But this year, regardless of if he loses, regardless of how good the winning mark is, he threw 71-70 in the London Olympic Stadium. He has the ability, unless if something happened, and since winning the Diamond League title a week and a half ago, he got hurt, he has the ability to answer anything that anyone puts out there.
He beat a great field in that Diamond League final too.
Yeah.
And he won by, he controlled the whole competition pretty much.
There were no Jamaicans in that field, though.
Well, that's why.
An important qualifier.
There were 0 Jamaicans. But
not even any Turkish Jamaicans.
No, those are the most dangerous. Yes, but I mean, I'm just looking at the field too, and also Matty Denny. Let's not forget about him.
Yeah,
I mean, this is a guy.
10 minutes without mentioning the second best thrower in history.
This is a guy who also throws really well at these meets. I mean, the last Olympics was his first global medal, but before that, he was always in the top 4 or 5, just throwing really far. And he mentioned in the interview with Dan McQuaid also, he always hits his best, it seems like, at the last meet of the year.
Yeah.
Which is usually the Diamond League. He's won the past 2 Diamond Leagues before this year. I used to call him Diamond Denny because that's what he does. He would win the Diamond League.
Yeah, I was looking back at his last couple years, and in 2019, his season's best was at Worlds in Doha. 2021, his season's best was in Tokyo at the Olympics. 2022, his season's best was at the Commonwealth Games, which was a week before the Diamond League final, but still very late in the season.
Yeah.
2023, it was at the Diamond League final, and then last year, it was at the Diamond League final. And he's probably not going to throw his season's best this year because
Well, yeah,
I don't know if
certainly.
he'll throw
So he's
74.
not going 70. He's not going 74, 79 at this one. No.
But I mean, it is not that. Maybe it's not Diamond Denny. Maybe it's just last meet of the season Denny,
Yeah.
and he's still gonna pull out something ridiculous. Like he hadn't competed in 2 months prior to Brussels, and then he's been struggling to find it a little bit. He's thrown 66s at Brussels and in Zurich for the Diamond League final. But I mean, this is a guy that comes to play whenever he needs to. So
Knows how to turn it on and
yeah,
is not afraid of the big moment.
yeah. And then I mean, so like Mikolas, I mean, he's like I said, 71-70 in London, a shade under 71 at pre with just a ridiculous series there. He's the man to beat. And this year, like I said, like if he is beaten, I don't think you can really like explain it away. For Christian, I mean, like you said, he had the strength. It's been kind of a tale of two seasons for him, where early in the year he had 8 straight meets at or above 69 meters, including 4 over 72.
Which
And
is
then
unheard of.
since then, he's had 7 straight meets now where he hasn't broken 69. And like 69 is a very
It's a big
high
throw.
bar. And I think he's had like a 68 in there, maybe a couple 67s, 66s, but that's probably not. I mean, last year Denny took bronze at 69-31, I think. And it feels like a lot of these guys have stepped up. So 68 is a great throw. There's a world where that finds yourself in like 5th or something.
Yeah.
So he needs to get back to kind of that early season form. If like he didn't medal in Paris. And
No.
so if he wants to get back on that podium, he's got to get back to where he was in May and in early June. And Ralford, like, golly, I mean, his last 3 like significant competitions, if you're looking at pre or NCAAs, pre and Brussels, like the Jamaican Championships, obviously a significant competition for him to make the team, but the competition wasn't all that. He won in 65. And then he obviously threw 72 in Ramona. But these big, like, in a stadium marks, 69-31, 68-98, 69-66. Like, he's shown the ability to replicate medal-worthy performances in a stadium again and again and again. So there's really no reason to think that I think Brussels went a long way to like solidifying himself as a legitimate medal threat. Because I feel like NCAAs was like, like, oh yeah, like that's a really good mark. He's also 2 months younger than Mikolas.
Yeah, same age. They were at the same World Youth. You see that
Is-
great picture of them competing against each other. I mean, he's still very young.
And they're just the next like 15 years are going to be so much fun with both of them. But yeah, before we get into our final picks, that's just kind of there's a lot of guys that I feel like they're at like different states in their seasons. And with the Worlds approaching so quickly, part of the issue with the Diamond League final being 2 weeks before Worlds is like a lot of these guys could still be like in a part of their training cycle where it's not necessarily they're primed to throw far. Whereas that's one thing that I kind of liked about having, like, it makes sense to have the global championship be the final meet of the season. But also, I kind of liked having the Diamond Leagues, like 2 or 3 after Worlds, so that everyone can just go out there in like peak condition and just let it rip with a little bit less pressure in an environment where maybe it's more primed to like throwing far. But that's a topic for another day. But this one is going to be so much fun.
Yeah, the thing about it is, you look at this list. I mean, there's going to be some really good performances because I think there's going to be some great throws here. There's going to be some really good throwers with some big marks that aren't going to medal, and it's going to break my heart. It's just they're going to go home empty-handed. But it's just so deep. You talk about being deep and being just talented. This is, I mean, like I said, it's the strongest discus field at a World Championships ever seen.
Yeah. So if we're moving into the final podium, I think
Yeah.
he does it. I think Mikolas takes the win here. I've got last meet of the season, Denny taking silver, improving from last year. And I've got Ralford Mullings taking bronze. I've got two 23-year-olds on
Yeah, why not?
a global championship podium in the throws. It's a
Yeah.
crazy thing to think about, but
Yeah, I'm looking. I mean, this one's tough too. I mean, honestly, a part of me almost wants to pick Ralford to win. I mean,
yeah.
really, that's. I mean, I'm probably not going to do that. I'm probably going to go a length now because even his bad days now are like 69 meters. It seems like, which I
Yeah.
mean, that's a real good talent to have. And he won the Diamond League. The conditions didn't look great in the Diamond League when it looked a little slick or wet. I'm not sure, but I have to go a length now. I just have to. I'm going to go Mikolas. I'm going to go Ralford number 2, and in the third spot, I'm going to go Say or Che.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to go. I mean, it hurt. Yeah, I think those are my top 3. I'm going Linkna, Mullins, and Che.
Yeah. I mean, there's this one is it. I feel like it's kind of similar to the women's jav in a way where there's a lot of different orders and athletes that could land on the podium, but it's kind of the opposite issue where like there's an embarrassment of riches.
Yeah, these are all time.
Yeah.
Athletes here with all time marks. I mean, yeah, it's just a. I'm looking at the list of athletes. It is just murderer's row. I mean, you could have Daniel Stahl come in like 7th place. He could still throw like 68 meters. I don't know. I mean, it's just a deep, deep event.
Do you think it takes 70 to podium?
Well, assuming the weather is good, because if it's a rainy day, it could get a little tricky. Although some of these athletes today, some of them can still throw far in bad conditions. It's kind of amazing. If it's good conditions, I think we had 2 over 70 in 2023 at the World Championships. Paris, we basically had 2 over 70. I mean, Mikolas went 69.90 something. Man, in a stadium, 3 over 70. My brain says no, but my heart says yes.
Yeah.
My brain says no. That's silly. It's not going to happen. But I mean, this group of they're talented enough. I mean, I would say no. I would lean towards no. I'd say 2 over 70, 1 at 69.
I think.
But I think 4th, 5th, and 6th are going to be over 60. I think it's going to be tight.
Yeah. Yeah. I think that's probably pretty realistic. I mean, the guys who have thrown Stahl's thrown 70 in a stadium before, but I don't think he's necessarily in that kind of shape right now. Che and Mikolas
He's done it.
I mean,
Ralford's really close.
69, 66, like it's about as close as you can get. Denny threw like 69, 80 in Brussels last year, I think. So there's a lot of guys that I think are capable of it.
When he threw 4 at the Olympics too.
Yeah, he threw 69, 31
Yeah.
in Paris, I think it was.
Yeah.
It's
just tough. It's hard to throw 70 a day. It's why the Olympic record was,
like 69, 70 or
yeah,
something.
it's why it was that, because it's really hard to throw over 70 in a stadium. So having 3 to do it the same day, it could, but it's a tough cookie.
If there's ever a competition for it to happen, like it's going to be this one, but it is a bit of a tall ask, but
yeah,
I'm going to be optimistic. I would think it's going to take 78.50 to podium in the women's hammer. It's going to take 83 to podium in the men's hammer and 70 in the men's disc.
That's fair.
I'll go with that. That's the benchmarks, I think. All right. I guess to wrap this up, hardest question imaginable. Which event are you most excited for?
I'd say for the men's, I would go. Well, I mean, I think the shot. I'm just curious. I'm always going to be biased towards the men's shot. I was more of a shot putter myself. But I mean, the men's discus is just outrageous. and the women's shot. The women's shot for out of the women's events, I'd go women's shot, and for the men's events, I'd go men's discus.
Yeah, I think obviously like you're the most curious about the men's shot just because the legacy building this could be for Ryan if things like break his way is just insane to think about. But I think I'm gonna go men's disc and women's hammer.
Women's hammer's legit too.
Like
I can't.
I'm just gonna like if Brooke can hit, like Cameron is going to be there and be close to or at her best. Deanna is probably going to be able to manage something like that. And then, like, if Brooke is there, like, it's a legendary competition.
Yeah, imagine if Anita just pulls something. I don't know why. I mean, it's probably going to be a little much for her at this age.
Yeah,
with her injury she's had a few years ago, but I mean, I don't know. Just Anita in the ring. Imagine if she did something magical. That'd be pretty sweet.
that would be. I hope if she does that, I hope she just calls out that carjacker by name and is like, "You can't hold me down."
No, I just want to see her put the shoes in the ring, retire. Just say goodbye.
Man, that'd be awesome. All right, now I'm gonna be disappointed if that doesn't happen.
Well, sorry.
You put the image in my head.
Yeah, but I mean, those are all great events, and really, all these events. I mean, like even the men's javelin. Like, I'm so curious to see Nadeem. So what is he going to do? And
yeah,
I love watching Chopra compete. He's just brings so much emotion to the event. He's just even Julian Weber. But all these events, men's hammer is another one. All these events, I just great fields, great great athletes in every one of them.
Yeah. Well, no matter who ends up on the podium, how wrong our predictions might end up being.
Very wrong for me, yeah.
It's going to be an insane 9 days of throwing anyway. It gets started September 13th. I think East Coast, it's technically like going to be the night of September 12th is when the first qualifying rounds are going to be going through. A refresher on the order for those of you out there. Day 1 is the men's shot final. Day 2, women's discus final. Women's hammer final on day 3. Men's hammer on day 4. Only qualifying rounds, I believe, day 5. Day 6, you have the men's javelin final. Day 8 is the women's shot put final, skipping another day there. Day 8, you also have the women's javelin final. And then closing it out, day 9, with the men's discus final, the Mac Daddy of them all.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
I am I announced, I think, a video ago and on my Instagram, I'm going to be in Tokyo. Thank you
Jealous.
to Discus Mag and ASICS. I'll be in the mix zone, bringing you lots and lots of interviews. So stay tuned to P. Hoff-Mahoney on Twitter, Paulie Throws on Instagram, and YouTube for that. Beau, thank you very much for taking 2 hours out of your Thursday night to
hope you didn't hear too much of a baby cry in the background, but yeah, it's a 2-month-old. So
we'll do some like audio editing and tone it down a little bit.
So she's excited too.
You've got to be excited.
Yeah.
But Beau, always a pleasure. Here's to hoping our predictions don't get.
I do want a shocker though. I mean, just finishing up, like I feel every World Championship there's a shocker. I mean, last one was Loggy, even the one before Ben Feng. I want a shocker. I'm hoping, as much as my picks were safe and kind of conservative, I'm hoping for a performance to just truly shock me. So
it'd be boring if we were just right.
Yeah. So I want to see it happen.
That's the excuse I'm going to use. If any of my picks are wrong, I'm going to say I
for the greater
intentionally picked wrong for the plot so that it'd be like the underdog.
It's sound logic.
Yeah. All right, Beau, it's always a pleasure, and maybe we'll hop back on for a Tokyo recap when we're done.
Yeah, well, I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah. All right, thank you guys for watching. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, follow Beau on all of his channels as well. I think it's just Beau Throws on everything.
Pretty much,
yeah. You'll find it. I'll link those down below. But thank you guys so much for watching, Please like, subscribe, comment your predictions. If there's any glaring errors you think we made, please inform us. And that's all I got. And the next time I see you guys will be in Tokyo. So that's a crazy thing to think about, but gotta love it. All right. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys next time.